What's going on? My name is Doing More. That's my government name. They call me on the streets of Santa Monica, Big D LOC, Grave Yard Crips.
For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you've been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf.
I was the founder. I created Clover Park in my mother's garage.
I had a lot of, lifting weights, and I was on swole. They started calling me Big Miz.
Original stutter box, East Side Fire, who's Pebble on Bishop, Mid City Gangster Bloods.
Yeah, make video, you know, this is for sure, Yeah, make video, open your soul.
This is the beginning.
Big D LOC, we gonna get you warmed up on this camera, man. Give us some background, like where was you born at?
I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana in 1965, June 17th.
And when did you migrate to California?
1971. My daddy got a job at General Motors, and he came out here, and we followed right after him.
What did moms do for a living?
She was like a nurse, registered nurse.
And y'all landed in Santa Monica?
No,
yeah.
Believe it or not, it's funny, a lot of people don't know. We landed in Venice on 7th and Brooks. I was 6 years old. That's crazy, huh? I could have been from down there, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. A lot of people don't know that though. We was only in Venice, we moved in with my auntie, so like I said, after my dad, he was at General Motors and he was always doing what he did, and then we moved in with my auntie coming out here. He was staying with one of his partners. And I could say we moved from Venice, I think we was out there probably, I can remember being about 4 months because we went to school. We didn't never go to school in Venice.
What was your classmates like? White, black, was it diverse, Mexicans?
Oh, Santa Monica?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was diverse. You know what I'm saying? Mostly, I would say mostly, Rogers had a lot of blacks going there. It was, I'd say 35, 40, something like that. It was mostly white stuff.
So what was your family's makeup? You got brothers and sisters and all that?
Yes, sir.
How many?
I got 2 brothers and 1 sister. My sister's older. Her name is Bridget. I mean, to be honest, I'm going to tell the truth about, he was a fugitive. To be honest, you know what I mean? My daddy, got on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Most blacks that migrate to the South come to LA, they kind of land in South Central, Watts, Compton. What made Pops pick Venice?
Because that's where my auntie and his friends that he knew from Louisiana that was out here, my Uncle Peter, it was all right there in the border. I can honestly say my mom, when she moved from there, she moved to Santa Monica, I guess to get her own place. So we moved like Venice and Lincoln, like down Broadway and 7th, from Lincoln and Ashland. And then from there, moved on 17th.
So yeah, most people don't know that Santa Monica has an old black historical neighborhood, the Pico neighborhood.
Yeah, Pico neighborhood, yeah.
What can you tell us about that? You know the history about that area?
A little bit, just a little bit, because I was a little itty bitty. Just a little bit. I remember the roller coaster going over the water and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I remember that, and then like I say, the events they used to have as it got older, the Pico Neighborhood Association, POP.
When you guys moved to Santa Monica, what block did you guys stand on? What street?
17th and Pico, right by the graveyard. You come from my apartment, as soon as you come out, that's the first thing you see is the graveyard. That whole apartment building was black, so I was like, shit, I was back in Louisiana. We was in the projects in Louisiana.
My pops actually moved on 20th in Virginia, back in 1956.
Wow.
And moved out in 1960. So that's why I wanted to see if you knew the history of that area.
That was before the freeway. That was before the freeway
right.
came. Yes, sir. All my older homies tell me about it. I don't know too much about that. No, just a little bit what they share with me.
So wait a minute. You got older homies.
When I say older homies, residents.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My generation was different. You know what I'm saying? The GY separate. When you say homies, it's like, yeah, I look at them as homies because they're older than me, and I call them my big homies, but they ain't GYs. You know what I mean?
Describe growing up in Santa Monica in the early 70s. What was it like?
We Creole people, you know what I'm saying? And my cousins was like knocking down everything around here. You know, so they wasn't caring. They was just here visiting. So it brought a lot of flack to our house. People in the Venice dudes had pulled up, and I can remember looking out the window. I had to be about 7, maybe 8, looking out the window, and they got guns, wanted to get him because he was sleeping with the nigga down there. You know what I mean?
Oh, early on, there was already a city rivalry between Santa Monica and Venice? Before the gang shit?
Always. The GY just took it to another level. You feel me? They had their problem, but they all still hung out together. Them generations, the older ones, they still hang out and still to today.
So what's the middle school over here?
John Adams, Lincoln. Lincoln is on the white folks' side. It's across Wilshire, for Washington. And what's that, 16? Yeah. 16, 14, 16, 14, somewhere around there.
So really, Virginia Park is y'all park.
Yeah.
Right there. So when did you start becoming aware of gangs growing up? When did you start becoming aware?
That's a trip. It's interesting that you say that because I always was one, I was always a little guy. The guys I hung out with, like Big Iron Dog from Marvin, Big Insane from PVG, rest in peace, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with him, Victor Wayne Thomas. Grew up right there on Euclid and Pico. One of our best friends, you know what I'm saying?
Insane from PVG?
Yes.
Santa Monica?
That's where he's originally from, Santa Monica, bro. Yes.
But he wasn't crippled back then. He was just a regular kid, right?
Well, they left when he wasn't really, because we was young, he wasn't really, until he went to juvenile camp Camp Kilpatrick in 82.
So when did the gang scene amongst the black kids start forming? When did you become aware of it?
I'm going to say, I was 12 years old. When like I said, I started pop locking, and when I did aware of the gang thing is all, how you go places. I was messing with the cats in West LA. Once Victor Wayne Thomas and Big Insane Earned Dog moved over that way, I was still fucking. I would get on the bus after we get out of school at John Adams, me and my sister Bridget, we'd get on the bus, and the number 7 and ride all the way up Pico to Pico and Haywood by the McDonald's, and we hang out with them and leave over to their house and come back.
So Santa Monica had a pop locking era.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys used to be on the boardwalk and all that, or you guys took it to Venice?
Yeah, we go to Venice, but it wouldn't last too long when they see me.
We're 12 years old. We ain't cripping yet. We just popping.
But it was a sport thing, though. Like a sports thing. It was a sports thing. You know what I mean? So we didn't get along with them with sports. You know how you just like Baldwin and other teams would play teams like the Demos or somebody. It's just been bad blood growing up with them.
Let me take it back a little bit. Growing up in the Pico neighborhood of Santa Monica, what was y'all relationship with the Mexicans back then?
Oh, velvet. Most of them used to spend the night at our house. The older ones I grew up with spend the night at each other's house, play sports together. There wasn't no problem like that.
Was it a lot of Mexicans in that area back then? Because they labeled it a historical black neighborhood. They don't add the Hispanics to that title when they talk about the Pico neighborhood.
Yeah, it was a lot on 17th and 16th. There's a whole lot of families. They still here today, a whole lot of them.
So, when did Cripping get introduced to Santa Monica, and who was the one to bring Cripping to Santa Monica?
Well,
once upon a time there was no Cripping in Santa Monica.
No.
So someone brought it to Santa Monica.
I'm gonna tell you when, because like I say, I had a friend of mine that grew up, a homeboy named Anthony Howard, and he wasn't a gang banger, but he dressed the part. Everybody wanted to, you know, I kind of like idolized him, you know. And then, like I say, in about 78, when Parliament, remember when they used to have African Bambaataa, all them people used to do the Uncle Jam's armies and all that shit was going flipper skating ring, all them days. And like I say, I learned about it going to West LA. The game that I learned from West LA, Marvin's, PBG, Mansfield, all them. Before Mansfield was even Mansfield. Before any of it was all dancers. And I brought you back out here.
Something pops in my mind about the pop locking era and the dancing. And I was talking to you on the side. There used to be a club out here called 321.
Yes, sir.
Was that part of the popping era, or was that afterwards?
It was part of the popping era. It was in between when, let me see if I remember exactly what year, because Charlotte, I mean not Charlotte, but what's the name of that group? They performed at that motherfucker back then. The bars.
Back then there was a group called the Posers, and they used to call themselves the Santa Monica Posers. And they used to be up at that club.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I grew up with a couple of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? James Smith, Scotty Yarborough, you know, Anthony Wood. Anthony Wood, his brother is Leon Wood, who played for the Philadelphia 76ers. He's coaching, refereeing. They used part of the Steve Clayton. You know what I'm saying? He didn't turn his shoulder on. He moved down there. Everybody, you know, they all was posers. So
there's a lot of local kids that lived in Santa Monica that were posers.
Absolutely.
You know, there was a gang of them that lived in the 60s too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
But I know a lot of them he wrote the essays now.
Right. They evolved over time. They were like mod dancers or whatever. So look, you personally are giving your Crip influence to the West LA cats. What about Venice, which is right next door and been cripping since the early 70s? Venice ain't had no influence on Santa Monica's cripping?
I wouldn't say not on ours, because if it did, the dudes that's older than me would have been saying it. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't claiming saying thugs, doing none of that. My generation's older than me. They don't say none of that. You know? So I don't know. I just, like I say, playing sports, we always collide with them. When it's the game opening day in football, King Conference, Santa Monica, we had a team, Pop Warner team, and they had their team. First day, the game, the season open, we fight. Always. And most of it is a trip, because most of the people from Santa Monica and Venice is kids.
A lot of the blacks from Santa Monica and Venice are related.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm not related to nobody down.
Well, because you came later. You came in 71.
Not to brag or boast, but like me and my both brothers, it's like, I be telling some of my homies, they think, they try to get to go down there. You know, I got love for them. I'm older now, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really with that, but it's still some cats that still work for the feelings. But come to me and my brother.
But it's said, like you said, there's a lot of relationships, blood relationships between Santa Monica and Venice. It's also said that a lot of dudes from both sides used to claim there was graveyards that used to be from Venice, and some of the Venice guys used to be from Grave Yard. Are you familiar with any of that? Or is that a taboo subject?
I wouldn't say they was from Grave Yard. I'd say they got away from it.
What year was Grave Yard Crips established?
And before that's why I say a lot of people don't know. I went to juvenile hall. Before, that's why I say that West LA kind of like had it, because I used to, like I say, grow with Big Insane and Earn Pop Lock. I know y'all know Damo too. Clover Park, Pop Lock.
Right.
Yeah, he's one of my best friends too. And I can remember, like I say, going down there. I give, like you say, give my influence to them, because that's how I learned everything. With the dudes that was in the era. Before they was even, they was all dancers. Like we was dancers. And we would dance against each other. We see each other at functions. I can remember going to, I'm going to get to the one, I can remember going to, what year was this? I think this was, I want to say 77, 78. It was a softball game. I don't know if y'all remember a radio station called KGFJ. They had a softball game. the radio station played against the Silvers in baseball in Brooklyn. They was raising money. It was a fundraiser for that lady that died in Rippleton. When they sang, and it was up there. But like I said, that was before, you know what I mean? We was mostly dancers. And like you asked me about the influence around here. It started in, I'm gonna get to that right now. I went to juvenile hall. I had a homeboy. A lot of people, my homies don't know them, and I tell them, a lot of these dudes tell me. It was a dude named Brian Dennis. It was one of my best friends out there too. And he moved out here from Chicago. He was tall, light-skinned cat. We used to hang out in the graveyard because I had a girlfriend. We had already moved, but she lived across from the graveyard when I first got out of juvenile hall doing 20 days, and that was in like 78, 79. Because 79 I was 14. About 78 I was 13. Just got through doing, like I said, a little days, and we used to hang out at the graveyard, and I came up with the concept one day. It was like, it would be hard, because, let me rephrase that. Because before we became Graveyard, it was called Virginia Park Playboys. Absolutely. See that? Yeah. A lot of people don't know nothing about that. They talk about Insane Monica Gang. You may have heard some people say Insane Monica Gang. That wasn't no gang. The person that came up with Insane Monica Gang was Big Insane. He used to come out here when he come to my house and he called himself Insane, so he was like Insane Monica Gang. And he had one person, Strolling Roller, my homie, rest in peace, he ran with it and he used to write it on the wall. But that wasn't never a gang.
Sitting reminiscing